you were really strong for your age. And did that go to your head, or was it
Not too much, because still wasn't tough, and my neighborhood was, that lifting don't make you tough, you know. And
Yeah.
all right. So it didn't go to my head, you know, because I still felt vulnerable out in the world, and lifting wasn't about that to me. I took it to a different thing, and you know, then kind of really in my teens, I was strong, and then I didn't get much stronger into my early 20s. A friend of mine was getting really strong. My best friend, Chuck Privatera, was getting really strong.
And what were you training at this point?
By my early 20s, which I am skipping a lot of time, but
That's fun.
not that much. I mean, there was a few teenage meets, and I did pretty good in powerlifting and a little bodybuilding. But then I started working in bars. And kind of going, you know, after girls, had a girlfriend, and was into that bar kind of party life. And my friend Chuck, who I grew up with since we were 5, was a power lifter also, and kind of said to me once, you know, your partying you're not looking too good. And why don't you come back to powerlifting?
Yeah.
And not so many words. It saved my life, you know.
Oh, right, yeah.
Not that I was overboard or Keith Richards or anything.
But your life path, you want to achieve your potential if you didn't go.
So lifting created, and I didn't lose it for long. I went adrift for about 3 years, and I was still lifting with the same numbers as a teenager, kind of going nowhere, and then I really got into it.
So you didn't explore, you weren't really hungry to learn new stuff or do anything, or seek coaching or anything else?
I was, but I was on a bit of a destructive path. I had a best friend die at 14, and it didn't fester into me until I was about 17, 18, 19, 20. I was kind of at odds with the world, I suppose. You know, you're
which is normal for a lot of people.
Because really, nowadays, a kid's not a man till he's 30.
Yeah.
In my day, admittedly, we probably weren't men till we were about 25.
Yeah.
In our father's days, they were men at 18.
18.
You know what I mean? It's just
an
evolution.
That's a good point.
Pretty soon guys won't be men till they're 50.
That's a really good point.
You know what I mean? But,
and even if it's true or not true, that's just the way the society was built up, especially around here. You know, so it's a different value system.
You were 18 in the Army, you could drink, you got married out of high school, you got a job at the steel plant.
Yeah, and that was
your
life.
It's not like that anymore.
It's not.
Life's a mystery. It's really puzzling now. I feel bad for the kids now, because not only the pussification with their phones and so many single mothers raising kids. I think it was.
But the mystery of how do I fit
Tyler Durden's famous quote on Fight Club when he was laying in the tub after fighting, and Edward Norton asked him, "Why do you think the country's in the peril that it's in?" I think it was something along those lines.
Yeah, context.
And Tyler Durden said, "Because we're a country of men raised by women."
Yeah.
You know, and nothing. I mean, but it's that figure, that father figure is.
Taking a back seat.
Yeah, it's diluted.
Because it's diluted.
Yeah,
that's good.
All
right, so that was the phase you were in, and then first coach.
First coach was Gary DeMarco, powerlifting coach, bodybuilding coach. He was a horse trainer. He knew both high performance people and animals. You know.
Was he a big guy?
Big dude, strong. But a natural coach, kind of like myself in a way. I mean, I did a little more in powerlifting and Olympic lifting and bodybuilding than Gary competitively. But he was strong in the gym, which one thing he gave me credit for all the time was you never leave your lifts in the gym.
What do you mean?
I never left my best I always did personal records at meets. I was very lucky or very well trained. I think very well trained. One of Gary's things was kind of along the lines of Ed Cohen, probably simultaneously to Ed Cohen, because Gary learned from a guy named John Black in Columbus, Ohio. And John Black is the godfather. He was even around probably coaching before Louis Simmons got so popular. But I think everybody in powerlifting, we're all one knit family. I think everyone, as far as you
enjoyed the cult.
We webbed out.
Yeah.
We were all had a nucleus somewhere that's kind of, we all know the root person, like you met Kono. There's that root foundation of people that everything has tentacled out from. In bodybuilding, it's all from, I suppose, Reeves, but Reeves seemed a little, I didn't know that much about him, but he seemed a little, he was too obscure. Arnold made himself known. So everything in bodybuilding kind of tentacled out from Arnold. everything in powerlifting, in my opinion, kind of tentacled out from guys like Don Reinhold from this area, John Black from Columbus, Ohio, Ricky Dale Crane from Florida.
Now, were you
Larry
exposed,
Pacifico.
just because we're talking about big guys back then, they're talking, mid-'80s. What about, did you ever see Kazmaier? Or did Kazmaier, was he like what kind of a vibe was it back in the 80s with that guy?
I never got to see Kazmaier until he was probably about 55.
But did this nucleus of powerlifters, did they know about him? Did they respect him? Was it like a thing? Yeah, so he was like a force back then.
I remember seeing him on the cover of Powerlifting USA and just a monster trap.
Yeah, is that the photo where it's like a bodybuilding photo where he's in or is that the one where he's traps and he's like,
he's just got no shirt on.
yeah, I know the photo you're talking about.
He's not exactly super lean, but he don't give
no, but he just looked like a house.
Yeah, an animal. But I didn't follow Kaz too much, or the huge guys. I mean, I liked Karlovich. I like them all. I shouldn't say I didn't follow them, but I really paid attention to guys my body weight.
Okay, so that was the realistic sense too.
Yeah,
like this
if
is
I was
going
to be a bodybuilder, I knew I wasn't going to be Arnold, so I tried to look like Zane.
Yeah.
And I sort of succeeded in that. The bodybuilding.
And we should show the forward. But so this coach you met, what were his training principles that you really liked, and did you have any, not friction, but was there anything that intuitively you disagreed with him on?
No, I just did as programmed.
And was this all new stuff to you?
No, it just all made sense. To me, powerlifting is really just heavy bodybuilding, the movements. Now, Olympic lifting's like gymnastics with weights. It's a different story, and I always was fascinated and did my share of it and really got into it. And that's a whole different chapter in the book. But powerlifting to me was just a vehicle to get stronger and bigger to be a bodybuilder, I think, ultimately, in my head.
And
I don't think anyone picks up a weight to go, I want to look like Alexiev. I think, especially in the United States, we all pick up weights to look like Arnold. Let's face it. You know what I mean? And I don't care what bodybuilders out there say, I'm better, Arnold's a little dated, and this. Everyone wants to look like Arnold still to this day.
Yeah.
He's the best. I mean, what did you ask me? I think you asked me, why is Arnold the best? And I said, because he's just big enough without looking stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a dick.
Perfect,
I'm not trying to be a dick. Haney had that, although Haney didn't have the calves Arnold had, he had a bigger back. I love Lee Haney too. I mean, his physique's tremendous. But
it was like an engineered,
Arnold was this
engineered thing.
A monster of, and the American dream exemplified. How do you
did it all?
The only people, everybody who talks crap about Arnold is simply it's just jealousy.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, of course.
Because, Arnold made mistakes. Everyone made mistakes. I made more mistakes. I didn't learn too many the easy way, did you?
Yeah.
I mean, I never learned many lessons.
I mean, it sucks, but, you remember it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the way it is.
That's right.
So, the things that you learned with this guy, there was nothing, it was no new type of lifts or new, hey, do these many reps, do these many sets. It was stuff you had already known, but it seems like the mental game, he beefed you up on how to think.
What he did was fundamentals. When I was powerlifting with Gary, Louis Simmons had this new system of bands and chains and box squats, and these guys were doing big numbers out of Columbus, Ohio. And there was a gym in Buffalo, Pitbull Gym, that had really the powerlifting. They had a big team.
So it was a hardcore gym.
Everybody was benching big. We used to call them Titbull. Kidding around because they were all benchers,
Yeah.
They all had these monster chests and were great benchers, but not too many. Besides, like Paul Childress and Steve Helmicki came out of there. They were the best.
Talk about Buffalo names too. Paul
Childress, world-renowned guys too. But they did that Louis Simmons system with boxes and chains, and we were more the Ed Cohen, Kirk Kerwoski, old school. Our mentality there wasn't chains at meets, there wasn't boxes at meets, so you squat, And we did volume. We did. Our goal was the ultimate 2 sets of 5 in the squat. We never did singles, doubles, even triples, because Gary DeMarco, I remember his voice. If you do a triple here at the gym, it's about what you'll get for a single at the meet with your nerves. And he was right all the time, because we did abandon, fuck him, let's try our own things once in a while. So many years of it.
Yeah.
And he was always right.
Oh, really?
So in other words, what I would go into, my last week, my ultimate best set of 5, 2 sets of 5, because he used to say, don't do 1 set, it could be a fluke. So we did a 2nd set, and you're putting in the work, and your lumbars are getting strong, your hips, and then a cool-down set of 8 in the squat. In the bench press, it was 2 sets of 4 was your ultimate, whatever you do for 2 sets of 4, and in the deadlift, whatever you do for 2 sets of 3 without straps on. That's what you would open with. So I remember I squatted 490 for 2 sets of 5, opened with 490, and it was a joke. It was an easy squat, pretty big number, so I'm on the board now. It was easy, so now my confidence is through the roof. So now I go to 530, and then ultimately I always tried 545, which was triple body weight for me back then. That used to mean something.
But you could squat over 500 though.
Yeah.
Which is always the magic number. Anyone says what?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there was guys doing 7, but they were better built.
Yeah, they're probably different.
From, I would catch.
What was your body weight? What compared to those guys? You know what I mean? 180 doing a 500. Right? So I mean,
but I'm talking 181ers doing 7.
Okay, so really, it's the same thing. Yeah.
8. Crazy numbers. But it just wasn't as strong as them.
Yeah.
But when we're going back to these kids nowadays, I want to stress something. I looked at some pictures in my gym one time. I was between clients, and I looked at a picture of Eric Vardanian, probably
you love that guy.
Ninth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
As far as 181-pound guy putting 500 over his head.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, he was superhuman. Then I looked at a picture of Arnold, and it dawned on me right then and there, because I had trained 24 people that day or something crazy. And then a few tried real hard, and a lot of people are just trying to get a little better. I mean, I'm not criticizing the people, but most people's personalities look at them guys and go, that's why I wouldn't try anyways, because I'll never be that. And my mentality is, I probably can't be like that, but I want to be as much like that as I can.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And the truth of the matter is, the average lay person shouldn't give it as much effort as me, because they will lose their job. I made this my life. And
it's a lifestyle. Lifestyle. That's what you embrace.
Yeah, like Tommy Cohen. You're never going to get rich out of this.
Yeah.
You're probably never going to get the respect due.
Because I think, too, the respect issue is no one really knows what it's like to lift 500 pounds or attempt to lift 4 because they've never done it. Right? So I remember the first time, in these clean and presses and everything, and these snatches, and it's the first big weight they ever use. I mean, you get a sense of how strong you have to be to move something like that. And the guys who are just mediocre are doing twice as much as I'm doing. And the guys who are really good are doing 3 times as much. I mean, it gives you a real sense of, oh my God, how much it's trying to move. So it's, that kind of feedback, which is your body feedback, you can't really compare that to many other things in life, where you're going to find out, okay, this person achieved this. How long does it take to be able to figure out and get a respect issue? How long it's going to achieve? Whereas in anything with weights, and especially heavy weights, which is like powerlifting, Olympic lifting, heavy weights, you never really know until you try it, and then you'll shut up real quick because you'll realize how heavy that really is and what you need to have it. So for that stuff, did you ever form and technique? Was it always constantly working on it, or was it more so like for your squat? Right, there's a million ways that people talk about squat and doing squat and this and that. Were you always a fundamental guy who just embraced fundamentals and did certain things, or did you over years was it constant experimenting?
Fundamentals.
And what are they to you for a squat?
Well, there's 2 kinds of squats, back squats in my opinion. In reality, I mean, I don't care what opinion people want to throw. There's a powerlifting squat, which is a lower bar squat. The only really differences is guys go wide or guys go narrow. And today with the monolift, where you don't have to walk back with it, I think there's been like over 300,000 pound squats in the U.S., but international powerlifting, where it's just racks the old way, where you got to walk back with it, I think there's only been 5 or half dozen 1,000-pound squats. Big difference. But going back to fundamentals, there's an Olympic squat, which is high neck, and there's a powerlifting squat, which is low neck.
And did you do a lot of both, or was it just one? Or would you?
I did mostly powerlifting. When I went to Olympic, I used to try to fool myself into thinking I could still stay with my powerlifting squat. And then I was quickly turned around and realized that the squat in Olympic lifting isn't an event. It's simply to make your Olympic lifts better. It's an assistance movement. And it's about being straight up and down and having it high on your neck. And you only need a certain percentage higher than your clean and jerk, and a certain percentage higher in your clean and jerk in the front squat. Was basically, in a nutshell. I mean, some Olympic lifters, I remember Namshel Manoff, the little pocket Hercules, never did back squats.
Oh, Olympic.
And Alexander Karlovich, the huge, in my opinion, one of the strongest men that ever lived, he never did front squats. He said, my cleans are my front squats.
Yeah.
And they were 585. So that was plenty. But he found them injury risky and not much carryover.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. In the Olympic lifting squat, you'll notice Olympic lifters like Karlovich has tremendous quadricep development. Whereas you look at a top power lifter, even Ed Cohen, I dare say, I mean, Kirk Kerwowski's a different guy because he basically Olympic squats. The power, he's one of the most impressive, if not the most impressive powerlifting squatter I've ever seen. Because it's an Olympic